Yes, you are clearly audible, sister.
Thank you so much, sister. Would you please share the screen for the Murli? Om Shanti. So today we are reading the Avyakta Murli of 30th June 1973. Title of the Murli is Baba and the Children. So in today's Murli, Baba is asking us to check if we have become the Brahmins just because we are adopted by Bap Dada, or are we really the followers of Brahma Baba in real sense? That is, each of the thoughts, actions, and words of ours, is it really matching with Brahma Baba's thoughts, words, and actions or not? So we need to check that, because Baba says in order to become the king in the future, we have to first become the ruler over our own senses in this confluence age. Just like Brahma Baba has attained this stage, we also need to attain this stage. Just like Brahma Baba used to hold courts of all the physical senses and keep checking every day if any of them is following his orders or not, and uh, uh, trying to change it accordingly, or trying to make corrections into his own senses. So we also need to follow in this way, that our senses are under our control or not. I'll just get into the movie. Om Shanti. Which gathering is this gathering? Do you know the answer to this spiritual puzzle? Do you already know it, or are you still coming to know it? If you already know it, then together with knowing it, are you moving along having accepted it? The first stage is to know. The second stage is to accept. And the third stage is to follow. So, what stage have you reached? Have you reached the last stage? So Baba is asking, do you only just know it? Have you accepted it? Or are you really following it? So are you at the third stage? Which stage you have reached? Have you reached the last stage? Baba is asking those who answered yes. Means some might have answered that yes, we have achieved the last stage. So Baba is specifically asking to those souls, is the third stage everlasting? Is it easy? It is easy to reach the third stage, and you have already reached it. However, now underline the last stage and make it everlasting. So even if you have reached it, you need to keep it constantly. It should be everlasting. It should not get break frequently. Who am I? You know the different names and form of this invaluable life. Do you not? What is your main form and main name? You praise the Father with different names on the basis of his different acts, but you still have a main name for him. So like we used to praise Shiv Baba with different names like Liberator, Ocean of Love, Bestower of Happiness, the Purifier. So Baba have so many names, but still we know there is main name of Baba, that is Shiv, the benefactor. So Baba is saying, in the same way, the name of you elevated souls have also been remembered by the Father on the basis of your different tasks and your virtues. So Baba is saying, Baba is also praising us with the different names based on our virtues. But what is the main name out of all of those names? When you took birth through the mouth of Brahma, with which name did the Father call you? Until you first become a Brahmin, you cannot become an instrument for any task. First, through the relationship of taking birth to Brahma, you became the mouth-born progeny of Brahma, like Brahma Mukhavanshavali. That is, you become Brahma Kumar and Brahma Kumaris. This is what you write as your surname. How do you introduce yourself, and by which name do they know you? The outside world, Baba is asking by which name they knows you. They knows you with the name Brahma Kumars and Brahma Kumaris. The first stamp of this dying alive life is that of being a Brahma Kumar or Brahma Kumari. So dying alive life, like Baba says in Hindi, Jeete ji mar jiva janam. Is that of being Brahma Kumar or Brahma Kumaris. That is of being an elevated Brahmin. First, you took birth, that is, you became a Brahmin, and you received the name Brahmin, that is of Brahma Kumar or Kumari, which is everlasting up to the third stage. Is it everlasting? That is, your practical life according to the Brahmin stage in your thoughts, words, relationships, connection, and service. So Baba is asking, is this name is everlasting just as a name, or is it practically imbibed into your life? Each and every action, words, thoughts are according to the Brahmins. Are you following it in that practical way or not? Not even the slightest trace of a Shudra should be visible in your thoughts and words. You have already been told what the thoughts, words, sanskars, and nature of Brahmins are. So we already know how should be our thoughts, words, our sanskars, and nature being a Brahmin. So Baba is asking, is it actually matching with that? Your practical thoughts, words, is it actually matching? Or do you have any trace of the Shudra? So what is the trace of Shudra? Baba is explaining that as well. Do you have an everlasting stage according to this? As a Brahmin, is your deed and every thought similar to Father Brahma's? As is the father, so are the children. Do the children have the same nature, sanskar, and thoughts as the fathers? Deeds the father have does the father have wasteful thoughts, or can he create any weak thoughts? If the father does not have these thoughts, then why should the Brahmins? So this is specifically Baba is asking to those who said that yes, we have attained the third stage of following. So Baba is asking, if Brahma Baba is not creating any wasteful thought, any weak thought, which is a sign of being a trace of Shudra into your karma and your thoughts. So if Brahma Baba is not creating such thoughts, then how you can create such thoughts? The father is constantly stable in any unshakable, immovable, and constant stage. And so what is the duty of the Brahmins, the children? What is the duty of worthy children? To follow the father. So just like Brahma Baba, we need to be stable and constant in every stage, in every situation. To follow the father does not simply mean to become a godly server, but to follow the father means to follow the father at every step and in every thought. Are you following the father in this way? Just as the father constantly has godly sanskars, a divine nature, a divine attitude, and spiritual vision, in the same way, have your attitude, vision, nature, and sanskars become the same? So Baba is asking us to check that have your actions, your vision, your attitude, everything has changed according to Brahma Baba or not? Have you made your face one with such a godly character? A face through which the virtues and the type of activities of the Father are revealed is said to be that of one who follows the Father. So, what is the real checker here, or the checkpoint for us whether we are following Brahma Baba or not is the face. If our face is showing the virtues of Brahma Baba or Bap Dada, then Baba is saying that soul is a one who is following the Father. Just as you sing praise of the Father and speak of his activities, have you yourself also imbibed all of those virtues? Or you are just praising him? Or you have already imbibed all the virtues? Have you made your every deed a divine activity? Do you perform every deed while in remembrance? Actions which are performed whilst you are in remembrance become a memorial. Have you become such an image that you create memorials? That is, have you become a karma yogi? So, what is creating memorials? Becoming a karma yogi. To be a karma yogi means that your every deed would be yoga yukta, yukti yukt, and shakti yukt, which means every deed should be in remembrance, it should be reasonable and powerful. Have you become the karma yogi to this extent? So we all are karma yogis since we have become Brahmins, but Baba is asking, have you become the karma yogi up to this extent, or it is not constant? It is frequently changed, or you're getting into the influence of physical form sometimes, or you're constantly a karma yogi. Or have you become yogis who just have yoga whilst sitting? Is it that you have a yogi life when you sit for special meditation that you are yoga yukta, or is it that you are yoga yukta at all times? So it's not just, we are not the sitting yogis, we are the karma yogi, which means each and every action while performing every task, we should be into the remembrance, and our every karma will become yukti yukt and shakti yukt as well if we are doing it into the remembrance of Baba. Okay, so is it that you have a yogi life when you sit for special meditation that you are yoga yukta, or is it that you are yoga yukta at all times? You speak of being a karma yogi, a natural yogi, and an easy yogi. So are you these in a practical way? That is it everlasting? Do actions attract someone who is a karma yogi, or does a yogi enable actions to be performed through his physical senses with the power of yoga? If a karma yogi is attracted by actions, would such soul be called a karma yogi? What would you call someone who moves along under the influence of action? You would call him a karma bhogi, that is, someone who is influenced by actions, would you not? That is, he becomes one who is under the influence of the consequence of the action, whether good or bad, whatever is action, but the one who gets influenced by the consequence is become a karma bhogi. You elevated souls are those who become karmatit. That is, you are not dependent on actions. You are free from the actions. Do you perform actions through the physical senses while being free? Means you are not getting attracted or getting influenced with the consequences of your actions. When anyone asks you what you are studying or what are you going to study, what do you answer? That you are going to study easy knowledge and Raj Yoga. You are sure that this is what you are studying, are you not? Since you call it easy knowledge, it is easy to imbibe and adopt something that is easy. This is why it is called easy knowledge. is it not? So have you become constant embodiment of knowledge, Gyan Yukta, Gyan Swarup, which means each and everything that you learn as a knowledge need to practically apply into every task, every day-to-day activities while performing all those activities. So Baba is saying, so you have become constant embodiment of karma, constant embodiment of knowledge. Since it is easy knowledge, then why it should be difficult to be a constant embodiment of knowledge? It is the task of the Brahmins to be constant embodiment of knowledge. So it is our first duty to become constant embodiment of knowledge. It is natural to be stabilized in your own religion, is it not? Similarly, what do you explain? What do you explain as a meaning of Raj Yoga? That it is the most elevated, that it is the king of all yogas, and that you attain a kingdom through this yoga. So whenever anyone asks how you explain Raj Yoga, it is the most elevated yoga, it is the king of all yogas, all forms of yoga, and this yoga makes you attain the kingdom, that is that it is a yoga through which you become the king of kings. Are all of you Raj Yogis, or are you going to attain the kingdom in the future? Are you a king even now at the confluence age, or you will become the king only in the future? So Baba is asking, have you become the king right now in this confluence age, or you will become the king into the future only? What can those who do not claim a ruling status at the confluence age claim in the future? So, just as you speak of the most elevated yoga, so too you should also have the most elevated yogi life. So, it is not just to tell that it is the most elevated yoga because you are not the sitting yogi, but your life should be the elevated yogi life. First of all, have you become the king of your physical senses? How come someone who is not the king of himself become the king of the world? Like Baba used to say in Hindi, Swarajya se Vishwarajya Adhikari. So become the ruler of your own self first, then only we will be able to become the ruler in the world into the coming future. Are your physical organs and the most elevated powers of the soul, which are the mind, the intellect, and the sanskar, under your control? So Baba is asking not just the physical organs, the physical senses, but your subtle senses also needs to be under your control. That is, are you ruling over them as a king? To be a Rajyogi means to be one who rules a kingdom now. You imbibe the power and sanskars at this time to rule a kingdom. The inculcation for ruling for the future 21 births takes place in a practical way at this time. Has easy knowledge and Raj Yoga come to the third stage? So it is easy Raj Yoga and easy knowledge, but Baba is asking, has it come to the third stage of following, which means practically implementing everything into your life along with controlling your senses? Because if you are able to control your senses and your subtle senses, then only you will be able to become the ruler into the future. Are you able to stop your thoughts the moment you issue an order for them to stop? When you give direction to your intellect to stabilize in pure thoughts, or in the avyakta stage or the seed stage, are you able to stabilize your intellect? So Baba is asking, check with yourself. Are you able to stop your thoughts whenever you want, or change, or just give the order to your intellect to be stable into a seed stage or into a vyakta stage, and check if your intellect is listening or following your orders or not? Have you become such king? Those who are such Raj Yogis are called those who are following the fathers. Just as a king has his cooperative workers through whom he is able to get any of his tasks carried out at whatever time he chooses, in the same way, the special powers of the confluence age are cooperative with you. So Baba is just giving the example of real king, like they have their workers, co-workers, cooperative workers who helped him, who helped the king in every manner. He just orders them and they follow it, irrespective of time, the venue, where to do, how to do. They just follow each and every orders. So Baba is saying in the same way, the special powers, that is all the 8 powers, Ashta Shakti, that Baba has given us in this confluence age, those powers are our cooperative workers. So what are those powers? Power to withdraw, power to pack up, power to tolerate, power to judge, power to face, power to cooperate, power to adjust, and power to discriminate. All these 8 powers are your co-workers, cooperative workers. Just as a king orders his cooperative workers and tells them that a certain task has to be accomplished by a certain time, in the same way, do you also accomplish all the tasks through all your powers? Or do you just issue an order? Means you're issuing the order, but they are following or not. When you order the power to face to come to you, does it move away? So if you order any of the power, sorry, so if you order any of the power to come and to help, is it coming towards you or is it moving away from you? To be an easy yogi means that all the powers cooperate with you in every way. Are you able to carry out a task through whomsoever you wish, whenever you wish? Are you such a king? Just as 8 or 9 jewels are very well known in the courts of the ancient kings, that is, they are remembered as his constantly cooperative souls. In the same way, do the 8 powers constantly cooperates with you? So Baba is asking, just like in ancient era or in ancient India, there were 8 or 9 main cooperative workers. They might work in different departments, but they are the main workers who are known as Ashtaratan or No Ratan in that court. Just like that, you also have these 8 powers as your cooperative workers. So are they constantly helping you, or sometimes they are not helping you? Sometimes they are not following your orders. Just Baba wants us to check. So have you become the king at that stage? Through this, you can know your future reward. This is the mirror through which you can see it by looking at your face and your character. The 6 months you have been given will not be the date of will not be the date of destruction. However, this time has been given so that each confluence-aged king is able to prepare his royal workers, that is, to prepare his constantly cooperative powers and make them ever ready. So we all have those cooperative workers, but Baba wants us to make them ever ready, that they can work at any point of time. We just remember, we just ask them to do this thing and they will follow our orders irrespective of anything. Every time and ever and at every moment, they will be constantly cooperative workers or powers for us. This is because if you do not fill yourself with the sanskar of looking after the kingdom now, then in the future too, you will not be able to become a king and rule for a long period of time, because it's about habits, it's about sanskar. So Baba is saying, if you are not filling yourself with the sanskar of looking after the kingdom, ruling the kingdom, then you will not be able to become the king as well into the future for a long period of time. Do you understand the significance of 6 months? See every cooperative power in front of you and stop your thoughts and see. Use your intellect according to your directions and see. So Baba is telling us how to check whether these powers are working or not. Create a thought that stop or change the thought, or in any situation, if you're getting towards negativity or towards something which is not natural, then just pause yourself, ask yourself to change and see if your mind follows your orders. Is your intellect is following your orders whenever you give them such orders. So you have been given these 6 months to rehearse this thing. Do you understand? Acha. To those who are constantly embodiment of easy knowledge, easy Raj Yoga, easy Yogi. To those who make all the powers cooperative, to those whose thoughts, deeds, and sanskars are like the fathers, to such confluence aged kings, love, remembrance, and namaste from Bab Dada. So Baba is telling us that we all are confluence aged kings, and once we will become king here, we will be able to become the king into the future. Om Shanti. And now we will just have 2 minutes of silence to recall the Murli, and then we will open the floor for everyone to share their thoughts, or if anyone have any question, we will be discussing that as well. Om Shanti. Thank you. Om Shanti. Now we can start discussion or sharing the points. Anyone who would like to start?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Good morning. Papa said, us to check whether are we the kings of the confluence age or we'll become a king in the future. So those who rule the sense organs here will become a king in the future kingdom. And the duration is also how long we are able to rule ourselves here or become a self-sovereign. That extent will become a king or will be ruling the kingdom there in the new kingdom, in the new age. So it requires a lot of checking. Like we need to check our sense organs. So we know that Brahma Baba used to do very good checking because we know that this knowledge was not so refined when beginning of the yajna, but now
Yes.
each one of us is getting the refined knowledge in a capsule model. So it's easy for us to understand the knowledge, but at the time it was not like this. So Brahma Baba had that quality even in the devotional when he was doing devotion also. He used to check all his sense organs. He used to hold a coat and then check everything. And he used to do a very subtle checking. So checking will help us to change. Checking will help us to remind if we are going or if there is anything that which we do against the Srimad, there'll be a subtle trigger within us which will understand and which will help us to change or stop further doing that. And that happens only when we do the checking. Okay, and one practice that I was told to do in one of the birthday is that to um, become a self-sovereign. So when we practice meditation, so this Dehi Abhimani Sthiti, where we can, the soul, we can visualize that the soul is being seated in a throne, and in front of me, I have the uh, three subtle organs: mind,
Yes.
intellect, and sanskar. And they are seated one step below. I, the soul, is seated at the top. And these three subtle organs, are seated one step below. And
Yes.
then I have the physical organs like my eyes and mouth and my hand, ear, and all the five sense organs. They are the subjects. They are seated on the floor, and I create thought internally that I, the soul, go and talk to each one of the each one of my subtle organs. First, I will go to my subtle organs, mind, and I talk
Yes.
to them, talk to my mind, just to analyze what all happened during the day. And if anything went or anything happened which crossed the line or against Srimad, then the soul as a king should warn the mind that not to do it again. And similarly with other subtle organs. And then same thing can be done for the karmendriya also, for the sense organs. This
Yes.
practice, we need to experience that while being seated, the soul being seated in the
Mhm.
throne, that I rule and I order and they all obey me. So that feeling has to be created all the time. So that is actually going to help with this practice. We do more, we should be able to conquer our sense organ, and we should be able to get to a stage where we can rule our sense organ. That's what I was told. I'm still practicing it. To be frank, I still not conquered all my sense organs. Still, I find some or the other time it's going. Um, I the kind of thoughts are there will be a situation where I have to put a full stop.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's not working the way I expect. I'm still working on it. Yeah. Om
Right.
Shanti.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Om Shanti, thank you. That was a very nice method that we can use, because we are quite used to this hierarchy kind of nature, because not most of us, but definitely we are used to this hierarchy. Being a corporate worker, we have such hierarchies into our offices with the base level worker, then their team leaders, then managers. So we know this hierarchy, and we can take help of this way as well to check ourselves. There is one more thing that Baba used to say into Murli: just like people have the habit to write diary while sleeping into the night. Sometimes some people have this habit to write what I have done into whole day, or they just make their next day schedule, everything that from 8 to 9 I'm going to do this, from 9 to 11 there will be meeting, etc. Baba said in one of the Murlis, in Sakar Murlis, that we also need to create the diary or the schedule for the mind, that for 8 to 9 I'm going to have this kind of thoughts, or I'm going to concentrate on this particular swaman, then from 9 to 10 I will be having this swaman. So just like creating diary for the physical activities, Baba have give this one more method, or this one more easy type of checking, that if we can make diary, then we can check at the end of the day that how was my stage at that particular hours of time. So then checking will definitely help to make change ourselves. So that is also another good option, or the other type or the method that we can use to check ourselves. This one, the one you have told, is also nice. So we can have different, and we can also create, or we can invent some methods, and we can share with each other. That's very nice. Thank you, brother. Anyone else? Yes.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om
So
Shanti.
Baba today tells that if our face is same as Brahma Baba, then only we can see we are following him. So face should reveal whom we are. So I think among the senses, eye is the one who deceives the most. So
Yes.
so we have to take care and should be aware. We should bring our awareness. So only from the first step, awareness. Next is the drishti. So forms the vritti. So if our vritti is good, then I think our face will reveal Baba.
Definitely. Baba said,
Yeah.
yes, very true. Baba said that your attitude, divine vision, vritti is attitude. So if your attitude is divine, then it's definitely going to reflect on your face, through your eyes, through your smile. That's very true.
So have to. You can also give me more points how to victory over our eyes. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much. Yes, anyone wants to add how
Yeah.
to become victorious over our eyes? Any points? Anyone would like to share?
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
Firstly, thank you for the nice rendering. And, when you were speaking and the others were sharing, I was reminded of that one line in the Murli which said, when you pass an order to face, does it just go away? It's a
Yeah.
very important line actually, because it makes you reflect, because the power to face sometimes, because you face so many things in your life every day. And like you were giving those exercise examples, the powers, the 8 powers or the 9 jewels or whichever way we call them, whether
Mhm.
it really is happening or not is the question, and the practice to how to check that is actually, I would request everybody to churn on that. Like,
Mhm.
because sometimes the powers are also challenging each other. One says power to face, the other says power to cooperate, and the other says power to do things together. Like, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes they sound the opposite.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
and then to know which power to use when is
Yes.
also another challenge. And coming to the eyes, because we were talking about that earlier, I've
Mm-hmm.
always felt that if from the eyes, the soul is speaking. And actually, when somebody is honest and truthful, and you can see in the eyes the vibration. that you
Yes.
can make out when the people. So eyes is like the mirror of the soul. So eyes is really important. It reflects, unless somebody is a trained person who knows how to, present a different image of himself. But in normal circumstances, the eyes is the giveaway to the soul. And therefore, there are a lot of books also on this, that when you're trying to see which person to trust, which person to just have a deep conversation with them eye to eye, and see where the eyes are going, looking away, not looking at you directly,
Right.
that
Right.
warmth in the face. So eyes is definitely something very important. But the other part, the churning, which I'm requesting everyone, out of the 8, 9 powers, the 9 jewels and the 8 powers, how do you decide which power to use when? At that time, sometimes that itself is a question.
Yes,
Om
that's
Shanti.
very true. Yeah, Om Shanti. Sometimes it's very difficult to, because it happens that we need the power of tolerance, but we just suddenly get reacted. We don't hold that power doesn't work at that time. So yes, it's very important to first understand which power to use at which situation. That's very true. Anyone want to share, or anyone want
Om
to?
Shanti. Om
Yes,
Shanti,
sister.
sister.
Om Shanti.
Before I go into the spiritual puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
the maze with which Baba took me today, how did I start
Yeah.
the maze and where he has put me? I will tell you that in short. Sister was just asking how to know what power to use. I think just a few days back, Baba said one power of discernment. If you have that power in you, all this, what you are, who is what to use when it's given. That's why he said the most elevated of all power is the discerning power. Even when they said how to use the eyes, it's the discerning power. What to see, what not to see, how much to see, where to see. Even that limitations of my vision comes in my power of discernment. So I remember going through that Murli in deep to see why Baba is really putting power of discernment as the king of all powers. That's just to answer a question. For me, the spiritual maze was beautiful. Why? I am born. The maze has started.
Yeah.
And my father names me. He says, hello, Brahmin. He gives me a name, Brahmin. He gives me an initial, like when you're born, you take the initial of your father. He gives me a name, and that name is BK. So I am born, I got a name as BK. So the truth is how I was born. The truth is to whom I was born. Do I remember that? How do I follow him? When Baba spoke, because I have to follow, I have taken birth through this father. And when he spoke about following him, I just remembered yesterday's blessing when Baba said, if you want to be complete and equal, become an embodiment and virtues like the Father. Not just become, it should be natural, not just, no need to imbibe and all. It has to naturally flow in you. It cannot be separated, it cannot be merged. But the height of my puzzle is, Baba put a throne for me and said, you are the king. So I've just taken birth, and the maze with which he took me, and then he places me at the top as a king. There he says, now I have put you on the throne. I gave you birth. I have put you on the throne. Have you fulfilled? And he gives all the things what a king should do, who's a ruler, what cooperation he should do, how can the king take cooperation of the workers. It's such a, he has traced me very well and told me what I have to do, how I have to carry out my task, how I have to check my cooperative powers. He gives me titles. He says, you're unlimited. You are not like those Hatha yogis and all. So if I know this puzzle, if I know it, if I accept it, and if I follow it, I think I'm the best Rajyogi. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om
Very
Shanti.
nicely said that. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. Very good journey going on, and very pertinent question sister has asked, which power to use when and how much and in what proportions with other powers. Should we mix with other powers or just one power will do? I agree with Sister Girija about where Baba has said in one of the Abhyakt Murlis that Parakne ki Shakti, the single most power which precedes all other powers, to find the discrimination between what is real and what is unreal. Because most of the time, unreal actually deviates us from the correct path, the Srimad. And it could be sadhan, some instrument, or some person, could be some relation, some object, or any situation, to the ability or the power to find what is real and what is unreal. That is very, very important. And that power, once comes in the soul, if we can develop that power, that we can automatically subtlety we'll know when to be loveful and when we have to be lawful, and all other powers automatically will emerge, and ensure that soul remains at that elevated stage. I have found, I when I when I look back in my spiritual journey during the times of failures, I can clearly see there was a lack of power of discernment. I have got lost in that situations. My stage came down. So whenever, so I can clearly, with confidence, I can say the power of discernment is the single most power. And I'm still developing it. I'm still learning from my failures. And these failures have taught me a lot. And now I can, but still I cannot be overconfident, because Maya is so, Baba says, it's like Sarvashaktiman, it has
Yeah.
got all powers to, maze you, to deviate you. It's very, very cunning, very, very cunning. So it will come in the form of a Brahmin only. It will come in the form of a, like, it's very, very pure. No, it's unreal. That's the power we should have. And second thing is, what I want to share the reflection about today's Murli is, Baba has beautifully taken us on a journey of, the vritti, drishti, swabhav, and sanskar, attitude, vision, nature, and personality. And what precedes all this is the smriti, which Baba gave in the first paragraph itself. What is your last stage, the perfect stage? Never forget that, and underline that last stage. Who am I? I am an incorporeal soul. I am the more incorporeal I am, the most powerful I am. And don't forget your surname. That's what, who am I? That's the Baba described. That is the prerequisite for all the other attitude, vision, nature, everything falls in place. And then Baba says about the true karma yogi, not karma bhogi. That also, it's a wonderful point to churn on. What is the difference between karma yogi and karma bhogi? I'll just share one reflection, then the others can also share. Karma yogi means where the stage, in my view, where the stage is ascending or ascending from lower to higher stage. And karma bhogi means where the stage is declining from some stage to lower stage. So this is one reflection, and others may also share. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else?
Sister, I have a question for you. Not a question. It is something which I always think about this in my mind when I took the Gyan. See, even when you are born in a Lokik birth, see, I'm born to a big king. I'm born, I'm groomed, I'm taught all the arts. I'm sent to a Gurukul school, and all the arts I'm taught. I'm sent to so many gurus and all who teach me everything. You can see this in the life of many of these yodhas, whether it's Arjuna, whether it's Rama. They go through all that process. And then only the time comes when they are sent to a war, when their valor is revealed. And then when the present king sees, okay, you have attained it, a crown is placed. But here you see, Baba, I'm born. Immediately he injects me with Rajyoga, with this, with that, and then he says, okay, time to sit on the throne. So I just say, Baba, what do you give us in between that birth to king that I take such a high jump? You know, it is like, you know,
Yes.
from first standard directly, I go to 12th standard. So in between,
Right.
like I sometimes, you know, that is what happens to a BK when they come to the Gyan and suddenly they say, ye nahi khana, wo nahi khana, ye karna. We know we topsy-turvy everything. It is beautiful. I'm not saying that for the person who's taking it, not the person who's going to see you doing it. But I want to know what is that magic? What is that portion which happens in between this maze from the time I'm born till I'm placed on the throne? And what is that magic thing which he does? Just what is it?
Not sure exactly, but I think personally, because whenever it is the reverse methodology that Baba is using, because the reason behind this, I think Baba is Trikaldarshi. He knows, because he don't see the physical form. He know that this particular soul is the past, present, and future of each and every soul. So Baba is making habit, or making us also to see ourselves through that vision that you already are, which means he knows that you are going to become. So it's like in Lokic word, like you just said, that they first go through all the processes and then they go and sit on the throne after showing that they are worthy to be there. But Baba is directly putting us on the throne, because basically Baba knows that this soul, because we are all the, the selected, like Baba said, koi may be koi. So we are already selected, because Baba knows that this is our future. So Baba just wants us to sit there, so that sometimes it happens in a reverse way, that if you already are sitting there, then you will be by the, what you can say, I'll not say the with the fear or the peer pressure, but just to know that Baba is seeing me in this stage, but I know I'm not at that stage. Just like we know, every time when we read the Murli, the very first time when we read the Murli, what is the first sentence? Sweet children. Now we know that we are not that sweet. We know that we are not pure, but Baba is seeing us through that form, because being a Trikaldarshi, Baba knows that every soul have that powers. So that's why Baba wants us to emerge those powers from within, and we have that. But it's like Baba is giving you the target in the first day, that this is your target, this is where you have to go. But not just through the practice. He wants to say that you are already there. You just need to emerge those things, because you already have those things inside. I think it's only one difference, that Baba is Trikaldarshi. That's why he knows that we already are there. So he just wants us to go through that way, not the other way, that you first practice, you do hard work. Of course, we need to do that, because it's a subtle journey of every soul, and it's the journey of soul for a very long period of time. But the point is, he knows that we already are, because he is Trikaldarshi. That is why he is using the other method, that first put them on the throne, then they will understand their responsibilities, and they will start following it naturally. I think that's the only difference between Baba and the, of course, that it different has to be there. He's Trikaldarshi, he is the creator, so he knows that we are already there. I think that's the only reason why it is different, and that's the only magic, because he knows by saying we are going to be that. Just like I said, that sweet children, we know we are not, but if the almighty authority is calling me sweet, then I have some responsibility to become the sweet children. I think that works with Baba. And also Baba also giving us the power to do those things. It's not that he's just giving the knowledge, because he know the soul is weak, the soul is already tired through the long journey. So Baba is also giving the power. So that is the additional, what you can say, value added, which help us to reach there, I think. So now I think, should Sister Rakhi, can we have that song? I think that song is perfectly apt for today's Murli. Mastak Singhasan Pe Hum Atmaएं. Can we have that song, just one stanza, or one, just one stanza, one or two stanza, and we can just sit for 2 minutes with that song, and can realize, or can can schedule our day for the mind, that this is how I'm going to be through the day. I'm going to rule my sense through this process throughout the day. Can we have that? Om Shanti.
Give me a moment, we will have that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
मस्तक सिंहासन पे हम आत्माएं राजन बने और शासन चलाएं। कर्मेंद्रियां कर्मचारी हमारी, भ्रिकुटी बीच दरबार अपना सजाएं। मस्तक सिंहासन पे हम आत्माएं राजन बने और शासन चलाएं। करे मंत्रणा मिलके मन मंत्री से, समाचार पूछे सजग संतरी से। बड़ी सावधानी से इस राजधानी को माया की छाया से पल पल बचाएं। मस्तक सिंहासन पे हम आत्माएं राजन बने और शासन चलाएं। कर्मेंद्रियां कर्मचारी हमारी, त्रिकुटी बीच दरबार अपना सजाएं।
Thank you very much, everyone, for your time, and Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Divine Family. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Ravita Ben. And we shall meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.